had a pork roast that we were going to make for Christmas, and then we opted to make something else. So I'm browning the pork roast right now, and then I'm going to throw in some garlic and onions. So I'm going to actually put an entire onion in here, because we just like onions. Oh, it would help if I had 2 gloves on here. Okay. That will get frozen, it'll get stuck in the freezer and used for stock when it comes time to make stock later. Just going to chop it up, however you chop it, fine, big, it's a little bit to you. I don't like onion that much, don't use onion, but onions really kind of make it. And the garlic, I've got some dehydrated garlic, so I'm going to use the last of the dehydrated garlic in there too, which would be the equivalent of, I'm going to say that's probably 2 or 3 cloves. Okay, you're going to chunk those onions in there and let them brown. And then once they're browned, then I'll toss in some carrots and the dried garlic, and we'll go from there. Probably going to throw some potatoes in there a little later too. And then of course we're going to throw some water in there, or some broth, whichever you prefer. I'm going to put fresh carrots in here, but if you don't have fresh carrots, that's okay. Use some canned carrots, but just don't add them in too early. Wait till the end, drain them, and add them in towards the end. Or if you're using dried carrots, then you can put those in a little closer to the middle of cooking time. Alright, look how beautifully browned that is now. So, and the onions are nice and glassy looking now, so I'm going to go ahead and add in some water, and I think I have some pork stock that I made a while back. I'm going to check back in the pantry for that, might add some of that in. If not, like I said, we'll just cook it in some water, add some seasonings, and it'll be great. Okay, went ahead and I threw in the dried garlic, and now I'm going to throw in the water. Okay, I'm going to put in just enough water to cover the roast. I'm going to do it a little slow. It's pretty hot. And once this water kind of gets, I don't want it boiling once I get the water in it. And you don't have to actually cover it if you don't want to. If you're going to put a lid on it, it'll still get nice and moist. But I'm going to probably get it right about to the point. Yeah, not quite covering it. Okay. So I'm going to let it get, the water get heated up again, and then I'm going to take it, I'm going to move it onto the trivet, because I don't want it really boiling, I want it simmering. Okay, so it's up to a boil. Now I'm going to cover it and move it onto the trivet. And when I say cover it, I'm going to cover it, of course, with my cast iron lid here. Whoa. Okay, so covered, and then probably going to need 2 hands to do this part. So one of the things I forgot, I'm going to go ahead and put the carrots in. It's close to noon, so I'm going to go ahead and put the carrots in, and then we'll just let it all simmer together until probably about an hour and a half before I get ready to take it off. Then I'm going to toss in some carrots since it's kind of simmering. Okay, so we've got the carrots added in, and we have 2 expectant little puppies thinking that they might be getting something here. Not. And the lid goes back on. Okay. Now we're just going to leave it alone for a couple of hours. Okay, it's been about 2 hours, so let's see how it's looking. It's simmering pretty nice. It smells really good. And let's see. Kind of floating around in there. Whoop. It's not quite tender enough yet. Let's see. I'm trying to flip it over here. Ah, it is getting there. You see that kind of pulled off really nice. So, a little while longer, I think I'll get some seasonings and start tasting it up here, and then I'll get some potatoes in it. Alright, I'll get back with you in a few. Well, I just tasted it, and the broth actually tastes really good, and I didn't put anything in it other than the salt, pepper, garlic, and onions from earlier. So I might just leave it like it is and throw those potatoes in, and then we'll thicken it up. And I'm going to put in 5 decent-sized potatoes. If they were organic, I would leave the peels on, but these are not organic. So I will peel them, and then I'm going to cut them up. I like them pretty chunky, so let me get these all cut up, and I'm going to do this one, because it's not like you don't know how to do potatoes, right? That's old school, but we'll get that potato peeled and chunk it up. Okay, so alright, so when I say chunky, I don't want to cut them small. I usually cut them about like that. So about, I don't know, 1.5 inches, 2 inches maybe. Yeah, probably more like 2 inches. Just chunky. Okay, so we're going to do them all like that, and we're going to chunk them in there. And like I said, just really good flavor already, so I'm still thinking if I'm going to add any additional flavorings. I'll try it again after the potatoes are cooked, and we'll see, or as the potatoes are cooking, and we'll see. Alright, so we've got about this many potatoes, and then I thought, you know what, I didn't put any celery in that. And celery, I just like celery, so we're going to throw some celery in it too. I'm going to do this very carefully, and then once I've got it in there, and that's my lid making that sizzling noise because it's sitting on the hot stove. There we go. And once I get that, then I'm going to add a little more wood into the fire because our temperature's starting to drop just a little bit. But it's keeping pretty warm in the house today. It's in the 30s outside, and it's 84 in the house because of the wood stove, so pretty warm. It's like a summer day in here. And that should do it. We'll put the last of it in there. There we go. Yummy. Alright, just gonna stir it up, cover it, and let it go for at least another hour or so. And like I said, then I'll check it, see if it needs some more seasonings. Okay, so I did decide to put a pinch of rosemary in, and I'm going to put a little bit of thyme too. But that'll be it. Oh, look at that. That's looking nice. It's looking nice. So when I say a pinch, this is some homegrown rosemary that I dried. And let's see, sorry about that. I mean, literally, I'm just going to put, oops, where's the camera? Just a pinch in. Okay? Because rosemary is very strong. I don't want it to take over. And then I'll put just a little bit more thyme than I did rosemary because I really like it. Well, maybe if I can get the jar open. So, I don't know if you can see, that is probably not quite a half a teaspoon. But beautiful. Let's give it a stir. Oh yeah. Potatoes are coming along nicely already. And look at that. Roast can be even broken with the spoon now, so that is looking good. Okay, let's cover it and let it go for a little while longer. Here we go. Okay, so the roast is done. Potatoes are tender. Carrots are tender. Everything's looking good. You can see those beautiful spices on top. I put a little bit of oh, what do you call it? Yeah, that's just falling apart. A little bit of flour and water in it to thicken up that gravy just a bit. And we're going to let that cook up a bit to thicken. And I put my frying pan here because what I'm going to do is, I'm not making homemade biscuits like I usually do, but I've got some croissants, and I haven't ever done those on the wood stove, but there's a first time for everything, so I'm going to put them in the frying pan here on the wood stove and see how that works out. Okay, so here we have the croissants, and I'm just going to kind of not do anything fancy about this. There's some oil already in the frying pan, so olive oil in there, so we'll see. You can hear it start to sizzle, and I've got the lid heating up in the back, so it should be hot. We know this part is hot. I've already let it warm up for a while, so I'm going to put the lid on, and then I'll stick some coals on top, and I'm figuring about 10 minutes we'll give them a check. There we go. Oops. Alright, let me get some coals on top and I'll get back to you. Okay, so put some more wood in the stove and added some coals on top. So we'll give that a few minutes and see how it looks. Okay, that's the crescent rolled, so that worked out pretty well. And we know we can do that again, which I really didn't know that it'd be any different, but you never know. And the stew, or the roast, is done, and then we have some pickled beets and corn. So we will catch you on the other side. And there's the finished meal. Are you ready to eat, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, they are. Okay.